In this video, we're going to be making the ninjas' rooms in Lego. I've always loved the modularity in the Harry Potter sets as well as the Ninjago city sets. I wanted to create something similar for the ninjas in the Monastery of Spinjitzu. Our first ninja is going to be Kai. I wasn't completely sure what to put in there, so I asked you guys for some ideas. A lot of you thought Kai should have a portrait of himself, so that's what we're doing. This is the best picture for a portrait. In Lego sets, the drawings never have the same realism as the show. That means I actually have to draw it, I can't just slap it on a tile. So I drew an outline to make it look like something out of a Lego set. Then I placed it on one of these 6x6 tiles and we got our picture. Fun fact, Kai actually does have a room in the Ninjago City Market, but it's not properly modular. Anyway, every bedroom needs a bed. So for Kai's bedroom, I based it off of Sora and Arin's beds that were given the Ninjago City Markets. Arin and Sora's beds have blanket printing on them. So if Kai had blanket printing, it would definitely be a flame design. So I quickly drew this up and placed it on Kai's bed. Another thing you guys thought Kai needed was lots of hair gel. So I made this sort of cupboard drawer like thing and put some hair gel on top of it. A lot of people also said that he needed a mirror. Fun fact, there's actually Lego stickers that work as real life mirrors. So I just used this door frame piece and placed a mirror on it. I also made these Lego drawers to keep his clothes. Now before we progress, I just want to say there are a lot of different connection points on this thing to connect with other rooms easily in different ways. This is the final room with everything in it. Here's a little look around the whole room. It's all in the dark tan color, and we do have everything I've already described in here. Here's a look at the top and bottom of this room. And for a minifigure, I definitely choose the unmasked Kai minifigure. Here's the finished render. It has about 127 parts and probably would retail for around $14.99. Our next ninja of today is Cole. The first thing to worry about is the bed. Cole is definitely one of the more organized ninjas, so I want to create something more unique for him and something out of the box. There are a ton of different Lego beds that you can build. I want to create for Cole a Murphy bed. A Murphy bed is a bed that can fold out of a wall or a cupboard. So using Brick Design's tutorial, I made a Lego Murphy bed for Cole. So here's how the bed looks. I'll show it working when I'm done. Everyone seemed to suggest just one thing. Cake.
Cake? Why did I ever give up cake? Because your body is a temple. My body is a temple.
So I added a secret stash of sweets above his bed. Now, since I drew things for Kai, I had to draw some things for Cole. Yeah, you guessed it. It's gonna be about cake.
The cafeteria has cake?
At least there's cake. Ow, that hurts! If you want to keep your teeth, don't eat the cake.
So for our Cole's cake poster, I decided to go around the Ninjago City Market to take inspiration from the already existing posters. So for the poster, I made a little drawing of a cake as well as the words cake and annual festival in Ninjargon. I also made this custom guide as well as a hammer for Cole to keep in his room. Unlike the other ninja, Cole's biological parents were a pretty big part of his life. So using some prints I found on Mechabricks, I was able to make this family photo with Cole and his parents. So here are the two prints I made for Cole. I decided to place the photo behind Cole's bed and the poster right next to his bed. I also got him drawers as a place to keep his other suits as well as cake. And here's how it looks completed. So you can pretty much see everything. I gave him a brown door and I kept the walls dark tan like the monastery has. You can sort of see how everything fits in there. Here's a look at the top. And here's how the bed works. You pretty much just push it in and take it back out when you want it. The minifigure is Dragon's Rising Cole with the hood down, and here's how the whole thing looks rendered. This would retail for $14.99 and has a total of 175 parts. So the first room we're going to be building is Jay's. The first thing we have to worry about is the bed. Now we've seen all types of beds in Lego sets like the Ninjago City Markets, and so for Jay I wanted to do something a little bit more unique. So unique that it looks normal. Yep, this is Jay's bed. I used a ton of blue and yellow, and I also made it so that you can take the bed off easily. You guys said that Jay is a huge gamer and something from Prime Empire would fit great in his room. And so I built Jay this arcade cabinet that he can keep in his room. This is the basic build of it if you want to look at it. Now you guys might be wondering, what does that tile say? In fact, it says Velocity Racers and is based off the Lego set. you can see Jay and Lloyd's vehicles there. And so now with that place, we do have to add some things to the shelves.
This is a classic!
Let me guess, you used to collect toy trains as a kid?
No! I built model trains, thank you very much. And this is a very rare model.
And so to build Jay's very rare model, I decided to add these little pieces together. It's pretty self-explanatory, and I think it looks good. However,
No way! What? Is that what I think it is?
If you think it's a rusted piece of junk blocking the tunnel, then yes.
That's not junk. That's a BRT M12 subway car.
now since Jay loves trains so much, I want to create a passenger train for him too. So I added this little workbench. So now I want to add Jay's new Lego set, the passenger car. Fun fact, minifigures can have Lego sets. Anyway, the passenger car is made out of these simple pieces. But now we're done with Jay's train obsession, and we had to add weapons, this being the nunchucks of lightning and 2 katanas. Jay also loves the movie series Starfarer, staring his dad, so I made this little poster so he can keep in his bedroom. I also want to add Master Chicken for a special tie-in with Nia's bedroom. And that's pretty much it for Jay's bedroom. The set will consist of 158 pieces and will retail for $14.99. That's it for Jay, let's get straight to Nia. So here's Nia's room all plain, and the first thing we need to do is add the bed, and I did want to make it accurate and all, but I think this bed would be better. If you're wondering how to build it, this is hopefully a self-explanatory walkthrough. And now we have the bed in, we need to add some Samurai X stuff. Now the LEGO Samurai X mat set is one of the biggest Nia sets ever made, and I think it's extremely cool, so I need to make a reference to it. I decided this microscale model will work really well. I made this little Samurai X mech robot that Nia can tinker with. It has a lot of posability as shown here, and putting this right next to the door would feel pretty cool. Here's the build through if you want to look at it. It's pretty complex, but I'm pretty sure you can still build it. The next thing to build were the weapons. The weapons actually weren't that tough. I just built a spear and 2 katanas, and that's pretty much it for the weapons. I guess those katanas could be the Samurai X-Mex blades. Now the next thing I had to do was build something for this wall because it was pretty empty. And this comment perfectly captured what I wanted to do.
Tell my mother I understand now. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Well, yeah, she said, tell my mom that's the way the cookie crumbles.
She said that?
Yeah? Why? What does it mean?
Oh, just something between us.
So I made this little poster for Nia's room that says, that's how the cookie crumbles. Now this last part is the biggest part because it's a tie-in with Jay's room. Since the middle was empty, I added a little lamp, but I also added this nest. This being for our minifigure of the Master Chicken. The Master Chicken has only come in 2 LEGO sets before, that being the Monastery of Spinjitzu as the Golden Chicken, as well as the new Build-A minifigure. However, he's never come in his lightning form, and so I wanted to do something like the SDCC Riyu. So to build his lightning form, I did this. I made the prince myself, and here is our Master Chicken. And so Jay has the normal chicken, and Nia gets the lightning one. This is our final Lego.com shop at home render with a total of 183 pieces and retailing for $14.99. Now you guys like Cool's bed a lot because of its functionality, and I want to create something similar for Lloyd. So this is my Lloyd's room all plain and everything, and it has nothing in it. But for the bed, I want to add something special. I want it to be a bed and a weapon rack. So here's the bed, and as you can see, it's on hinges. The reason being is you can push it up and you can reveal that there's a weapon rack underneath. As you can see on the backside, there's a light green and dark green color scheme. That's what I try to keep throughout the whole thing. And yeah, to build this, it's a bit complex, but as you can see here, this is how you could do it. You can pause the video and look at these images and figure it out. It shouldn't be too hard, but it is still a bit complex. Now that we got the bed out of the way, I want to build him a dresser, and this dresser is a pretty simple build. All I did was do this, yeah. Now earlier I made a post on YouTube asking what you guys think I should put in this, and you guys said to maybe put some pictures on the nightstand, or for Lloyd to have a secret stash of candy so he can still have the child in him.
Consider this a warning, Ninja! Ninja!
So I added a table, but the prime function of this table is you could take off its lid and see chocolate inside, and pretty much Lloyd could just hide sweets in here. But this table is looking pretty empty.
What? Who made my bed? Is that... Hello, mint? Ah, the most refreshing mint of them all. But how?
So I definitely had to add a pillow mitt, but there's another stud hole, and for this, Nemomo's going to be helping me out with one of his builds. He built this mech, which appeared in the show.
And we learned that, for some reason, elemental powers can close them. But the merge quakes are getting more frequent and stronger. If they continue like this, it's only a matter of time before they rip the world apart.
Anyway, I want to add some plans of building the mech in his room, so there would be some reference to it, so I did this right next to the pillow mint. Now, after that, I did have a little shelf at the top, and for that I want to put Master Wu's staff, because it would fit there nicely, and when it closed up, it would work out well, so I kept it like that. Now, you guys all really wanted a photo of Lloyd and Garmadon, so I definitely had to do this right behind his bed, so it's just there, and when he folds his bed up and sees his weapons, it's sort of gone. And lastly, I decided to add another print, and that being a built-in board with all the ninja on it. As you can see, this is what it looks like. It just shows the different realms and what he thinks they are, and he's just drawn them out, which I think looks pretty cool, and it works out well. Here's a shop at home image. This set retailing for $14.99 and having a total of 167 parts. Now for Zane the Pain with the ice in the veins. I started off by building a base for the room. It's pretty simple, and then so I added a bed. I actually added a bed rack because I thought Zane would probably use it, and for the build, you can pause it and look at it. It just looks like this. It's nothing too big, nothing too complex, yeah. So then I put Zane's bed, and then I want to add a little nightstand. And the nightstand also has a pretty simple build. You can build it easily. And on top of that, I added the falcon, Zane's silver falcon, because a lot of you guys wanted it. Now, after that, I actually added a little dresser for him. It's really simple build, a bit like Lloyd's. And I did also put a meditation mat, because he loves meditation. And this meditation mat looks fine on the floor, you know, it looks good. And then after that, I decided to add some shurikens along with the bow and arrow because those were both his weapons at one point in time. And yeah, that's pretty much it for most of Zane. So I also made a post about Zane, and like you guys wanted, I put in a falcon. But there were absolutely tons of you guys who told me we need his dad. No, not like his actual dad, just the pictures. And so I made this picture, a little drawing of Dr. Julian that I'm going to say Zane painted. I did take this custom Dr. Julian made by 810823 and use it as a reference for this piece of art. And so with that, that would be pretty much it. However, I did want to add one more thing. I love this one comment that said, as iron sharpens iron, brother sharpens brother. And so I had to put that as a poster in his room. And yeah, here it is. For the Lego Shop at Home image, this set retails for $14.99 and has about 184 pieces. I already know Arin and Sora have a bedroom in the Lego Ninjago City Market set, but as you can see here, it is really small. So instead of giving them such a small room, I'm going to be giving them rooms this size. So here's my plain room. There's really nothing in it, so I made sure the door was the color orange to fit Arin's color, and then I added a bed. Now this bed is pretty simple to build. As you can see here, it's nothing too big. There's actually already a bed for Arin in the Ninjago City Markets, and because of that, I chose not to go too crazy with mine. So the next thing I did was add a drawer for him to put stuff in. It's a really basic build, nothing too big, nothing really anything. The next thing I wanted to do was add a little training thing for him to do because it's Arin, and Arin just loves to be a ninja and train. If you were wondering how the build looked for this, it looks like this. It's nothing too big. And I also added one of those movie things to the bottom so it spins while he's hitting it. The next thing I wanted to add was an oven. One of Arin's favorite things to do is to bake, and so I thought this would be perfect. So I added the oven to his room. It was a pretty small build. If you were wondering how to build this, here's how. It's pretty simple, and yeah, that's really it for my oven. Now, one really big thing that is missing in this case is pie. He needs pie, and so I added the pie on top of the oven to look like he just cooked it. After that, I did have a bunch of empty things I need to put weapons on, and so I added a bunch of shurikens as well as a gun, as his gun that he uses to anger stuff, and some katanas along with these shurikens to add something. And this is a dartboard with Raz's face on it. You guys had this amazing idea and you put it in the comments below, and I loved it. Like a dartboard and one that would tie in with Sora's room later, so stay tuned to hear about that. Arin's room is almost complete. There is one last thing to add, and that's this. This was a really good idea I had to implement, and so I went ahead and did it. There's a picture of Arin in the Zane in his room. Now for the shop at home image, it looks like this. Actually, I think Arin looks really good like this. I wish LEGO sold him like that. But like always, this is $14.99 and has a total of 165 parts. Now onto Sora's room. So for Sora's room, it's completely empty and everything. I decided to add a pink door. Along with that, I have a bed. It's a really generic bed. There's nothing to it. It's just like the last bed. It's because Sora already has a bed in the Ninjago City markets. The next thing I want to add were some drawers for Sora to have. This just had the basic drawer as well as some tools for Sora to use because she's just that kind of techie person. So already we have 2 things in this room and they're pretty generic. The next thing I want to add was the Empress dartboard. Just add a bunch of shurikens to the side so that people could shoot shurikens at her. What a filthy dragon hater. Headshot. The next thing I want to add to this room was a workbench. Now this workbench was a pretty simple build. I just had these weird little parts that I used for the stands. The next thing I want to do was add some weapons, and since I'm not sure Sora really had any weapons other than katanas, I left them there. I also did have a toolbox for her because I thought, you know, she'd need a toolbox with all those tools she has up there. Another thing I want to do is add that Mech Master poster from the actual season. It would be a good reference to what happened in the show.
Yes, A Mark 1 is gonna crush in the Mech Master 5000.
Tomorrow's race is the biggest prize pot of all time. If we win,
When we win?
right, when we win, we could find ourselves a real place to live. I could build my own monastery and invite everyone else who lost their parents to live with us, to carry on the tradition of the ninja.
And as you saw a second ago, I built Sora's little booster thingy. Here's the build of it if you want it. Now, one thing you guys really wanted me to have was a miniature version of her mech like I did with Nia. So I have a micro version of her mech being hung on the wall. Her leg is on the side, and yeah. Here's the build of it. If you want to build it, just pause the video and check it out. If you need any more help, I can try to provide that. Well, here's the final set. Now for the minifigure, I just put on a hood part. Please don't get me for that. I wanted to do the hair, but I didn't know how. And yeah, this set retails for $14.99 and has a total of 186 parts. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.